Shalom. All praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem HaKadosh. Noble honors unto the apostles and elders of GMS, who are the true leaders of Israel today. And salutations to all of the Akim who do this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedoms to do so, as well as the scattered Israelites who come looking like the heathen, but are not, by way of their forefathers' seeds, who are Israelite men. The true name of the Most High is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahushai. And the Lord's holy chosen people are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as were the ones who suffer under the curses in the book of Deuteronomy. My name is Zakalia, and this video is on the hatred that the Edomite has towards us. And there is a situation that has, I guess, caught fire on social media regarding a white woman interacting with a so-called black child, and it all escalated where the interaction happened. It was put on social media, and then there was a GoFundMe where she was supported, and I believe the number went up to about 500,000 people donated to her cause because she said that she felt that her life was in danger. So let's just watch a little bit of this, and then we'll get into the scriptures regarding how it is that these so-called white people feel about us, and why they feel this way about us.
After she went viral in a video where she admitted to calling an autistic black child the N-word. Her name is Shiloh Hendricks. She says her family has been in jeopardy since the video went public. As of tonight, that GoFundMe page is no longer available, so we're not sure what happened to the money. If she...
Yeah, so apparently it's gone now, but before, she had like over 500,000 in donations in US dollars.
Removed it or what? Here's the latest and the moment Hendricks was confronted on video.
That little kid, you call him a...
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, an N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
That's a hate speech.
The question is this our America? My next guest is Dante King, author and human resource management consultant. He shares his take on this situation.
Is this our America? It is. Your America, because this isn't our America. This isn't, for us. America is this way because the people that are ruling are the wicked. They're the so-called white people. They are the biblical Edomites. So, we are in captivity. We're the Israelites. And so this is not our America. This isn't our kingdom. This isn't our rulership. This is their kingdom and this is their rulership. So, seeing as that this is their kingdom and their rulership, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is emboldened. And yes, they are these white people. Okay? And as you saw, the female, just the Edomite woman, she just straight up said whatever she had to say to the Israelite kid, and that's just what it is, the Israelite looking kid. And obviously she has no remorse. She doesn't feel any type of guilt about it or any of the sorts, because the thing about it is that the core of it is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, these so-called white people, they hate us. They hate the Lord's holy chosen people, who are the Israelites, us. They hate you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans with a very deep passion. They hate us, okay? And some of you have been, because we're no longer in chattel slavery and there has been an integration of the people together, and there's no longer any segregation on all these things. So you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you felt somewhat comforted that, oh, life is changing, things are getting better, we're no longer in this type of position. Now we're starting to become quote unquote equals, and that's not the case at all. Actually, Esau, Edom, the so-called white men, integrated the people together because they saw it beneficial to their goals and their plans. All right, they wouldn't have if they never saw it as beneficial. But however history went, when we were in the chattel slavery and that type of slavery was going on, whatever transition was happening, the Edomite felt that it was important enough to integrate, right? That's why you have like individuals like Martin Luther King, who was talking about what's integration and bringing the people together and being as one or whatever. And that was just a setup, a Negro set up by the wicked elite of Esau, Edom. But let's play a little bit more and then we get into the scriptures.
Makes sense, Dante. We're talking about an orientation, an anti-black orientation that has been trained in, not only that this woman is inspired to act out this type of ill will and hatred toward this black individual, but that she has support, that it inspired people to then contribute to her cause to protect her. And so we see the ongoing...
And who's going to support her? Her own people. Her own people are going to support her, other Edomites. And I wouldn't be surprised if you got some heathen supporting her as well. The other heathen supporting her as well. Or some bugged out jakes even. You know what I'm saying? You got some of our people that are working with the enemy very clearly. Right? And the scriptures in Psalms 83 lists out who the enemies are. Okay?
Use and manipulative power that can be wielded by white women, where a 5-year-old child is concerned, and that there is also, trained into this society where black people are concerned, a lack of empathy and compassion.
And why is that? Why is there a lack of empathy and compassion for so-called black people? Because we're the Israelites and we're suffering under the curses, and a part of the curses is that we'd be at the absolute bottom of the totem pole, right? As the Lord's holy chosen people, this is just what it is, all right? But we are going to be elevated to our true level in due time. But let's get into the scriptures so that there can be an understanding when it comes to these so-called white people, right? These Edomites, because this kind of behavior isn't surprising to me. Knowing the scriptures, having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, actually, she's in order in regards to her interaction with a so-called black child, right? He has the look. He could be an Israelite, But yeah, this kind of behavior is par for the course. Now the thing is, right? Every nation is supposed to be for their own people, right? But the thing about it is that Esau, Edom is hateful. That's the difference. Every nation is supposed to be for their people, but Esau, Edom is a very hateful nation. That's just how they're built. That's just what they are. Let's go back to the beginning in Genesis chapter 27 to see where this all rooted from. Because, the individual, he made a statement, the news presenter, whatever he is, he made a statement about how, I think he said something like it's ingrained in, basically saying that like the way that people grow up in society today allows this kind of behavior to happen. And now, he's most likely also alluding to the fact that Trump is in office, that the so-called white people have been emboldened, and they have been emboldened, right? The Edomites have been emboldened because they feel more proud than ever before because of, the Edomite that is up in office and how he is so bold about his hatred towards the other nations, right? So that allows the other Edomites to be like, hey, this is how we all really feel. But they're like, oh, they felt some type of way. It's been like in the world where you can't really say certain things because there's this whole idea of hate speech and whatever else, right? But now they're completely emboldened. But going to where this all started from, because it's not based on like ingrained in society or, that's how people have been conditioned from birth and all these kinds of things. It goes back to the beginning from the book of Genesis, okay? These Edomites hate us from birth. There's no nurturing or nothing that happens. It is their nature. So in Genesis chapter 27, Jacob, our forefather, supplanted his brother Esau, right? And Jacob, which it was all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemishai, was given the ultimate blessing, and Jacob is an omen nomen, right? His name means supplanter, heel holder. So it was all through the Spirit. And then Esau was given a blessing as well, that he would have dominion over the earth. He would rule by the sword. I mean, it says it here, Genesis 27 and verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off his neck. So this is where we're at right now, all right, regarding the words of Isaac to Esau, that he would have dominion and shall break his yoke from off thy neck, because we are the ones that inherited everything. But Esau was given a blessing, that he would have rulership, and that, we would be below him on earth. So we're living through that right now. But then it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And Esau is the progenitor of the Edomites. Okay, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel, is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, but Esau, that's their forefather. These so-called white people, Esau is their forefather, and they are the Edomites. So here, once again, and Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And it says, and Esau hated Jacob. Okay, so going back to that, this time here, this is where it started, man. Okay, and then Jacob had to be sent away, right? Because Rebekah heard Esau's words. See, verse 42, and these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. You see? So it goes all the way back to this interaction between Esau and Jacob. Okay? And these white people, they have the same exact spirit from birth. That's just who and what they are. They're just built this type of way to hate us. They're truly built to hate us. And they do. You can see it in their actions towards us. And then, you got some people walking around and they're like, oh, well, I got white friends in my crew and they ain't never been racist or whatever like that. Well, chances, there's a chance that, first of all, that white-looking individual could actually be an Israelite by way of his forefather's seed, which would be an Israelite man. But then other than that, I mean, you just interacting with them. And many times it's come out that, Jake would be like, oh, I got my group, I got this white person in my friend group or whatever, maybe 2-3 of them or whatever. And then later on they find out that the entire time that white friend, so-called, was a hypocrite to them the entire time, and maybe using them for some type of benefit or whatever it is. The thing is that when it comes to these so-called white people, these Edomites, you also can't trust them, because the scriptures say to never trust thine enemy, and they are our enemy, going back to that Psalms 83. So then we have here, the point has really been made. Esau does have a hatred for us, but then the scriptures mention a perpetual hatred. I think that's in Obadiah and also Ezekiel. Let's see. Okay, Ezekiel. (35) and verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee. So the Lord is against you so-called white people. And I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Let's look at this word perpetual. That's H5769 in the Hebrew. Okay, I will long duration, antiquity, futurity, evermore, perpetual, old, forever, always, continuous. So they have a continuous, everlasting hatred towards us, you see? And it goes back to that time. So knowing this, right? Knowing that these Edomites have this type of hatred. When this type of information comes out or these situations happen, you just blink and you move on with your life, you know. But, you know, there are our people that do become, you know, emotional about this. But you wouldn't become emotional about it once you know their nature and why things are the way they are. So it says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sit thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. And this is what's going to happen to the Edomites. They have a perpetual hatred against us, and every single chance they've had to lay hands upon us, they have. And they really got to during this captivity, and it was devastating upon us as a people. But they'll have to pay what they've done to us. This is Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did not cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. You see? Kept his wrath forever. They hate us. So it doesn't matter if you're an adult or a child or a baby on the breast. These so-called white people, they hate us. And they will do things, actions of hatred against us. But I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Bozrah, which is Esau, Edom. So we're comforted as well, because we know that Yahweh Shemishai is going to judge them for every single thing that they've done unto us. All right, and that's why wisdom and knowledge and understanding is so incredible to have, because when you have it, then you look at these situations and you're not emotional about it, because you understand what is going on. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemishai, Bashim Kodesh. Shalom.